Alright, let's dive into something that's been buzzing in the MMA world lately, and trust me, it's a doozy. So, Brendan Schaub recently went off on Ian Machado Garry, saying he should basically stick to talking about fighting and nothing else. Now, personally, I think this is one of those moments where the line between self-expression and self-sabotage gets really blurry. Let me break it down for you. First off, Ian Machado Garry is gearing up for a massive fight against Islam Makhachev, the welterweight champion, at UFC 330. This guy's got the skills, no doubt, but it's his mouth that's been getting him into hot water. In a recent interview, he dropped this line about how the world would be better if it were run by women. Now, look, I get it, he's trying to stir the pot, maybe even troll a bit. But here's the thing, in a sport where your fanbase is as diverse as it is passionate, you've got to pick your battles. What makes this really interesting is how quickly Schaub jumped on it, essentially saying, hey, stick to what you know. From my perspective, Schaub's reaction is less about the comment itself and more about the timing and context. Garry's fighting the pound-for-pound best in the world here. This isn't just any fight, it's a career-defining moment. So, when you're out there making controversial statements that have nothing to do with the octagon, you're not just risking fan backlash, you're potentially distracting from the very thing you're trying to promote, your fighting ability. One thing that immediately stands out is how Schaub compared Garry to LeBron James, saying he never agreed with the "shut up and dribble" crowd, until now. That's a pretty big shift, and it raises a deeper question: when does an athlete's right to speak their mind become a liability? What many people don't realize is that MMA fighters are in a unique position. Unlike team sports, where a player's off-field antics might get buffered by their team's PR machine, fighters are often their own brand. Every word they say reflects directly on them. Garry's comment, whether you agree with it or not, feels like a misstep in a sport where the fanbase can be notoriously unforgiving. I mean, if you take a step back and think about it, he's essentially trying to build a persona while also preparing for the biggest fight of his life. That's a lot of plates to keep spinning. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture here. Garry's not just any fighter, he's on the cusp of becoming Ireland's second UFC champion. That's history in the making. But with Makhachev standing in his way, he's already the underdog. Adding controversial statements to the mix? That's like pouring gasoline on a fire. What this really suggests is that sometimes, less is more. If you're Garry, why not let your fighting do the talking? A detail I find fascinating is how Schaub's critique isn't just about the content of Garry's words but the strategy behind them. In his opinion, Garry's losing the PR battle before the actual fight even starts. Here's where it gets even more intriguing: Schaub's not saying fighters should be silenced. He's saying they should be strategic. Personally, I think there's a lesson here for anyone in the public eye. You can have opinions, but timing and context matter. Garry's comment might have been fine in a So, what's the takeaway here? Well, for one, it's a reminder that in the world of combat sports, your mouth can be just as powerful as your fists. But with great power comes great responsibility. Garry's got the talent to make history, but if he keeps stepping on his own message, he might just be remembered more for what he said than what he did in the octagon. And that, in my opinion, would be a shame. What do you guys think? Is Schaub right, or does Garry have the right to speak his mind no matter the consequences? Let me know in the comments below.